Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. It is me, it's Megan, and I'm here to talk about my last 5 library books and what I thought of them. So, let's jump right in. That didn't work the way I wanted it to. These are the last 5 books that I read. Let's talk about them. The first book I read was He Said, She Said by Erin Kelly. This is it here. This was very twisty. It was, so first off, trigger warnings, because this book deals with a rape trial, and it deals with, basically it's a he said, she said situation where it's like, you learn about what happened, but you learn about it, how it happened in her point of view, and then you learn about it in his point of view, but it's not of the person who was raped. It's a couple, and they witness a rape, and you're learning about that story through them. It's really hard to describe what this is about without giving too much away, because it's best to go in not knowing anything, because my god, this was such a psychological mind bend. As I was reading, I was like, oh my god, the characters you thought were good are turning morally gray, and you're like, what is going on? So it was crazy. So I ended up rating this 4 stars just because it was good, but I mean, not my favorite cup of tea, but with the subject, but I mean, still definitely a very intriguing, twisty read. I also liked that that she weaved in the whole eclipse into that. It was really cool. So the next book I read was Scarborough by Catherine Hernandez. So this was nominated for the Canada Reads 2022. And this was an interesting look on the city of Scarborough and in Canada. And it took on a daycare center, and just all of it was in the span of a year, a school year, and we learned that there's a new teacher in town, and she wants to get the community together. So this was a really good book about community, and just even in low-income communities and where gangs happen, well, not gangs, but crime and drugs and all of that happen, there's still people who want to come together for the goodness of community and being together despite all backgrounds and everything. It was also really just, and there was a point of view from the children's perspective, which was also really just this added heartwarming touch, because children are they're just so innocent that they don't know what they don't know, and it was just so this was a very touching read. I ended up rating this also 4 stars. So then the next book I read was The Forgetting Spell by Laurie Miracle. This disappointed me. Okay, this is the second book in the Wishing Day trilogy, and so this book, I thought it was gonna follow what happened in the first book, and it didn't. My needle just fell, my knitting needle, that was weird. So it didn't. So this book follows the second sister, and now it's her wishing day, but what happened in the first book, it ended, and then all of a sudden events happened between the first book and the second book, but they're not talked about, so it felt like we were missing something, and then things jumped around, and the plot just was not there. I was the author had these great ideas, but she didn't follow through with them. She would be like, this is an idea, and then talk about something else. This is another great idea, and then talk about something else. I'm like, no, I want you to follow along with what you were going to talk about. So this really disappointed me, and I didn't really care for the characters. Even the sister bond kind of lost its luster in this book, so I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to read the third book, because I'm sure the third book is about the third sister, so I'm just going to finish the trilogy off, and I really hope that the third book is going to be better than this one. I still rated it 3 stars, even though it's probably more of a 2-star read, because it just made me super angry that we weren't getting what I thought we were going to get. And there was almost no plot progression, and yeah, I didn't like this book. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So the next book I read was The Shrunken Head by Lauren Oliver. I mean, this cover is really cool, and it takes place in a museum of freaks, and the children are the freaks. I wanted to like this more than I did. I rated this 3 stars. I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me. I found it really boring. So a shrunken head goes missing, and the kids feel like it's their responsibility to go and find where this head is. And like, so they're all over the city trying to find, like, they're playing detective basically. And I'm like, oh, okay. I thought there was going to be more of them having superficial, not powers, but like, I mean, there's a bearded lady, and there's like, and one of them, I don't even remember, they weren't very memorable characters, because I can't even tell you what, oh, one of the girls is good with knives, and, I mean, we got some knife skills going on. The other ones were, I don't even remember them, so so that I can't even describe it very well. But yeah, theirs is a trilogy, so I'm gonna pick up the second book to see if it's any better. But this one was just, I just really wanted more. But what was really cute and like cool was that there was illustrations within, so that was really good. Let me try and find one for you. Obviously, when I look for it, I can't find what I'm looking for. Oh my god, seriously, there was, okay, so this is one of them. It's not a very cool looking one. There was another one that I really liked, and now it's gone. So, oh, see, here she is. She's good with her knife. She's wielding a knife. So, that was that. The last book that I read was You Don't Have to Say You Love Me by Sherman Alexie, and this was his memoir, and it's a chunky memoir. So that was my beef with it, is that it was just very long. I mean, he is a very talented writer, and you can tell from his poems how, like, just the emotion that emits from them, and even from his storytelling. He's a very good writer. There were just moments where his storytelling would drag on a bit, and I'm like, can we just move on? But the poems really broke it up, and, like, there were scenes just like little short things, and it was really fast paced, and this was about not so much him, but it was about him and his relationship with his mother. His mother has now passed, and I think this is him coming to terms with his mother passing. I think this is really the whole point of this book. It was very emotional, very poignant, very just so much about like growing up being Native American or Native Indian in a small town in Washington State, and wanting to break away from his Native Indian culture and to integrate with white people. So it was really, really interesting to read and to learn more about him. I'd highly recommend this if you've read anything from him, like if you've read any of his other works. I would definitely recommend this. So I ended up rating this 4 stars. So that now concludes the 5, almost at 4, the 5 library books. I don't have enough hands. The 5 library books that I recently read. So that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, thumbs up, give it a comment, a like, a subscribe, do your thing, and I will see you in my next video where I talk about my next 5 library books and I give them my predictions. So, until then, bye guys!